Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Season 3 of Fear the Walking Dead. Now, this is the season that caused a lot of people to pretty much rage quit. A lot of people were just saying, you know what, I'm done with this season. And they threw their hands up and they left. And in all honesty, the reason why is because once you find out what all happens in this season, you're just left to saying, well, it was pretty much all for nothing twice. Like, it was really a pointless season. Everything they fought for just was taken away from them. And it was just kind of like, well, what was the point of this entire season, this entire story arc, if they didn't even get to keep what they wanted and stuff? Now, this is also just a retread of season 3 of The Walking Dead, but season 3 of The Walking Dead was done a whole lot better. It's ironic how, this season keeps copying from The Walking Dead, but then they stopped in season 4 of Fear the Walking Dead when they had to reboot the series. Personally, I like the first half of season 4 till that big shocking death reveal. That led to the second half of season 4, and it just kind of sucked. And the show has sucked ever since. And a lot of people have wondered how is this show even still on air. So season 3 of Fear the Walking Dead. I've already reviewed the first episode, the premiere episode of season 3. So there's no point in going over that again. Just watch that video. But pretty much after all that, we see Alicia and Travis on the plane. And they're with Jake, which is Troy's half brother. And so they're flying around, and then all of a sudden you start hearing gunfire. Because somebody's attacking the plane, but we don't know who yet. And so Travis, I think he gets hit once. And then he lifts up his shirt, and then I don't know if that's a bullet wound. It kind of looks like a bite wound also. So he might have got bit when he was in that pit in that first episode. So Alicia's all shocked and worried. Then he gets hit a second time with a bullet. And then he falls over. And he falls out the plane and he hits the ground. And we never see his body after that. So pretty much after they got back to the ranch, it turns out that the military people from the first episode are not the military. They're actually the militia. They're part of a group on the ranch led by a man named Otto. God, I forgot Otto's first name. It might be Jake, and then his son is Jake Jr. But I'm just going to call him Otto. So, yes, Otto. He is the man who found Ophelia in the finale of season 2. But we didn't get to see his face, we just heard his voice, and he had a gun to her. This dude is extremely racist. And I mean, he is racist. If you are not white, he does not like you. And we find out what he did to Ophelia later on, which was pretty messed up. But needless to say, the dude is extremely highly racist. And not only is he racist, but everybody else in his group on the ranch is racist as well. They're all white. You will see no people of color on his ranch. The only person who is not racist is Jake. Jake is, like I said, the half brother of Troy. Troy was the jerk in the first episode, the one who got spooned by Madison. And Jake is the only one who doesn't act like really nobody else on the ranch. He's not evil, he's not racist, nothing like that, but he is part of the militia, and he does live on the ranch, and we'll find out why the ranch is so controversial later. And so, and it's pretty, now you get to think about yourself. Well, they have Luciana with them, and she's Mexican, even though the actress is not Mexican, but she's Mexican. So how that gonna work out for them? So pretty much, Nick and Alicia, they don't want to be on the ranch because, well, actually, once they meet up with Madison, she tells them what happened to Travis. Madison's all upset. And Madison, when they get to the ranch, she's all like, we need this. We need a place that's secure. This is a huge place, a huge fence. And Nick and Alicia, they don't want to be there, especially Nick. Nick literally tells her, I am not breaking bread with the people who shot my girlfriend. And Madison's all like, look, we have nothing else. We're in another part of America. We don't know where nothing's at. We need like shelter. We need stability, and this place is gonna be it. Plus, Luciana, she needs medical attention and stuff. And so Nick's like, fine. But once she's healed up, we are leaving. And Madison's all like, I made the calls here. Madison really shocked me this season with the decisions that she made. Just like Rick, she messes up. But just like Rick, she's a good person who's trying to do the best she can. But yeah, the decisions she makes this season are pretty jacked up. Everybody's decision making in this season is jacked up. And I mean every single last person from the main cast of the first season. Even Alicia, even her motives at one point in time are kind of like, what? Because even she has a slight racist moment. Like, everybody is just so hateful in this season and stuff. I don't understand, like, did the writers just wake up and like, hey, let's have a really racist season this season, and let's be as racist as we can be, but let's like minimize the like slurs and everything, but let's just have some highly racist motivation. And I'm just thinking to myself, are they doing this because they like didn't do it with the I think his name is Otis character from season 2 of The Walking Dead, and Merle, of course, when he came back, he was less racist than he was before. I'm just surprised. This was like I dubbed this twice as the pointless season and the racist season. So Madison is pretty much doing everything she can this season to getting good with the Autos. She knows they're terrible people, but she will do whatever it means to getting good with them. And she knows she screwed up because she had to spoon Troy. So pretty much she like weasels her way to the head of the ranch, which is Otto Sr. And so she's trying to prove her worth for him. And she's also trying to prove her worth with Troy because she has to make amends. She sits at the table with him. She eats with him. She goes hunting with him. Like, she's spending more time with Troy than she is her actual kids and stuff this entire season. And when she goes hunting with them, she finds out who shot down Travis, who killed Travis and who tried to shoot down the plane. It turns out it's a group of Native Americans. They are highly pissed off at the Ottos and everybody at the ranch. Why? Because Otto built his ranch on Native American soil. It's their property and everything. And Otto took it before the zombie apocalypse happened. Now we find out that we found out a lot of interesting stuff. When it comes to Jake, we found out that even before the apocalypse, that he went to court with this, the Native American group leader dude, his name is Walker. And he went to court with that dude, and Jake won. So they got to keep the land and stuff. But this did not set well with Walker. He wants that land back so bad. And it's to the point where he will do anything to get it back. Plus, he always wants revenge because the ranch people do some pretty cruel stuff to them. And so when it comes to the Native American group in Walker, I dub them the same way I dub Otto and the ranch people. They're evil. I don't see them really as the good like guys like this season, because they do some pretty horrendous stuff in the name of revenge, and they just have one thing on their mind: that land. Like, that's all it is land. It's a zombie apocalypse. I get it, you want it because you feel it's your people, but it's just like, move on, man, and find some place. I wish they have moved on and found some place else, but it's a little shack of a place. And they have to live in like little trailers and stuff. And it's like, it's not worth dying over land when there's a zombie apocalypse and there are zombies, which, by the way, there are barely any zombies in this season. The zombie count is very low. When they do show up, they only show up really massive in 2 episodes, the pilot one and the mid-season finale. And pretty much, zombies are not apparent in this season. You'll see 1 or 2 pop up every once in a blue moon, and even in the finale, there is no zombie action. So when Madison and Troy and the militia was out hunting, they realized that one of their trucks had been missing and some of their people. So they go looking for them. And they find a bunch of their people dead. So then they find one guy up really, really high. And it's one of the most disturbing things you will ever see. It's a guy, an old man sitting in a chair, and you hear him talking to himself. He's just repeating the same thing over and over. And when you go to the back of his head has been scalped clean off. You see his brain, and you see a crow eating at his brains. It is disturbing. It's disgusting. That is one thing I will give it up to Fear the Walking Dead. They were very gruesome in their zombie stuff. Like the gore was like way bigger than The Walking Dead. However, this season takes place the same time The Walking Dead season 7 was going on, and we all know what happened after that. After Negan went all baseball bat on people, people's all like, all right, fine, y'all need to tone down the violence in both shows. So after season 3 of Fear the Walking Dead, in season 4, the gore and the violence got toned down, even still to this point. So after Madison, kills the dude with the crow on his head and everything, we see Walker and their people, and that's when Madison finds out a little bit what's going on. And so Walker, and he's all like, send a message back to the people, we want our land back, blah, 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 stuff like that. And he makes them leave without their weapons and without their shoes. So they have to walk back miles and miles without their shoes. And some of Troy's militia people, they're like, look, we need to rest. And Madison's all like, look, your people need to rest. And Troy's all like, no. It's dangerous from like here to the ranch. There are Native Americans out. There are zombies out. And we need to keep on going. But he does agree to sleep at least one night. And when he does, he put a knife to Madison's throat. Because I don't know how he had a knife that took the weapon. He put something to her throat. I'm pretty sure it was a knife he hid somewhere. And he's literally going to kill Madison. But Madison talks her way out of it, and he decides not to, because he's still pissed about the whole spooning thing. And when you see him relent and move away from her, he has a bizarre, psychotic look on his face. Keep that in mind for later on this season. When they get back to the ranch, Madison tells them what all happened and stuff. And Otto, his little racist crap, he tells Madison who this Walker person is and why he's pissed and then crap like that. At some point, Madison watches the video of Otto, as he was kind of like advertising his ranch for other people to come stay there and building and stuff. And we see a flashback of like Troy and Jake when they was younger. And we also see how Otto used to treat his wife. Now, his wife is played by the woman who played Anya in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It kind of sucks how this actress only got like a cameo in this season. Like, she deserves better. She deserves better in WandaVision. Like, she needs bigger roles, She can actually act. Now, the people who live on the ranch, apparently they've been living there since before the zombie apocalypse. And some of them live in tents. And a few of them have houses, like the elders and stuff like that. And they're like family members. So it's kind of like, it's like these people are like survivalists who kind of live in their own little cult reality and live on the ranch. And yes, they're all racist too. Now, with the Alicia character this season, she is just going through the motions of the last 2 seasons. And she's just kind of like numb inside. She just doesn't really care. She hangs out with a bunch of other teenagers at the ranch, and they get all high and they start drinking alcohol, which I'm very surprised that Alicia is smoking pot and drinking, because she knows how that affects Nick. She knows how that affects her brother Nick. And we've seen her talk about how she hates it and stuff, but like I said before, now she's going through the motions and just don't care. Now, one of the similarities from season 3 of The Walking Dead is that we see a headless corpse. Remember how the governor had like a head in a jar? Well, these people, these little teenage kids, they have a head too. And Alicia's just kind of like, whoa, you know, because she's high and stuff. Now, the people on the ranch, they haven't been on the outside, so they don't know. They know the zombie apocalypse has happened. They just don't deal with them and stuff. So they feel like they're safe. Kind of like the people at, what's it, Woodsboro? Was that what it? No, no, Woodsboro is from Scream. Is it Woodbury? What is that place? In season 3 of The Walking Dead. I forget. It's something with a W, I think, that the governor owns. And so, like, pretty much Otto is kind of like the governor. He's evil. He's dangerous. He's like, a little drunk and all that kind of stuff. A little alcoholic dude, a racist alcoholic dude. And the governor was racist too, and will just straight up kill folks. So Nick, I was actually very proud of and surprised in the first couple of episodes. Only, he does not want to stay there. He hates these people. They pretty much murdered all of Luciana's people, and they almost killed Luciana. He does not want to be there, despite what his mom says. And so he is very adamant about that until he starts getting groomed by Otto. Otto, because the thing about Nick, he doesn't like guns, this and that. Otto, grooms him into liking guns. He grooms him into wanting to stay there and how to build like a foundation for himself. And he's all like, what about Luciana? She doesn't exactly look like your people. And then, Otto's just kind of like, he just kind of like, whatever, like she's with you and we'll work something out and stuff like that. But him and Otto become very close to the point where Otto is starting to look at him like a son almost. And so, yeah, he grooms him to the point where Nick is just kind of like, I like it here. I'm going to stay here. And he tells Luciana that. Now, Luciana, they did her so wrong in this season. I don't know what she was doing in this entire season. Like the actress, I don't know if she was filming a movie or filming another scene and had scheduling conflicts. But needless to say, she goes absent for a huge chunk of this season. Now, I believe it's 16 episodes this season, and she's only in 5. I'm not joking. And the 5 episodes she's in, she's barely doing anything. The most she ever did was in the first episode. The episode where she got shot off camera and she was moping and just like passing in and out, and she only gets like one zombie kill and that's it. But she's pretty much just in Nick's like he's having to like drag her and carry her around, and then Travis has to carry her around, and that's all in the first episode. The next 2 episodes, she's basically just tied to a table and as she's being operated on because they're afraid she might turn. And it's even to the point where Troy's all like, look, we gotta kill her because she's gonna turn into a zombie. And Nick's all like, no, give her time, she could heal and everything. And then like if it comes down to it, he'll be the one to do it. So then at some point she wakes up. I think about like in the 4th episode or so, and maybe 4th or 3rd. So she wakes up probably in the 3rd, maybe the 4th, something like that. And she's telling Nick straight up, she is not staying here. She is not staying with the people who killed her people and tried to kill her and everything. And Nick's all like, oh, we gotta stay, we gotta stay. She does interact with Madison once, and it's very brief. And so at some point in time, when Luciana and Nick was asleep, this one old dude, he was dancing with his, no. I think he was like dancing. No, something happened. He was with his wife and she died. And she died of natural causes because she's old. So he starts dancing with her. When she's zombified, he removes like her teeth and maybe her fingernails or her fingers, something like that, so she won't scratch them. And he's dancing with her and they're playing music. And then he takes like a gun and he kills both of them at the same time. This knocks over like a kerosene lamp and it sets the whole place on fire. So Nick and Luciana, they see that fire. And then, so, people have to like put the fire out and all this other stuff. And so I think they assume that the Native Americans did it or something like that. And so at some point in time, Luciana decides she's going to leave and she's going to leave Nick. So when he's asleep, he wakes up in the morning and she's gone. She left him a note, and we see her with a scarf around her head and a machete on her back, and she's walking near like the border wall, something like that. And I guess she's going back to Mexico. Well, that is the last we see of her in episode 4. We don't see her again until the last episode of the season, but it's a hallucination. It's Madison's hallucination. Basically, it's like this. Luciana is with Nick. She's holding a child. Madison is trying to talk to him, but she can't because it's a weird hallucination and a pointless one at that. And then that's it. That's all we see of Luciana for the rest of this season. And some mysterious way that has been unexplained in between season 3 and season 4, she found Madison and Nick and all them, and they all got reunited. And it's kind of like, how? Now, I will get to that point a little bit later, because when you find out what happened in the finale, it leaves you more question of how the heck did this happen? So, stuff is still going back and forth between the ranch people and the Native American people. And somehow, I forget, something happens that causes Jake to be all like, he's going to go there and talk to Walker. And he's going to try to negotiate because, he won in court. And he's going to try to, just try to make, peace with them and offer them stuff that they might need or something like that. Alicia thinks it's a bad idea. See, at this point in time, Jake and Alicia have been, knocking boots all night long. Yeah, she's finally over her boyfriend actually, she's been over her boyfriend from season 1. Because in season 2, she was talking to the pirate dude and stuff. So, yeah, now she's back with a third dude this season. She's always with the guy. But she took a break from season 4 and 5. No, it's 4. She took a break from season 4. And then season 5, she got back with another dude, the painter dude, but they ain't really done nothing yet. Oh, Alicia. So, anyway, Jake goes over there. And when Jake goes over there, Alicia, she has the map of where he was going to be at. So she decides to go by herself and everything. Now, at this point in time, Alicia is slowly becoming more of a warrior type person. She started a little bit in season 2, but then she stopped. And then season 3, she's starting up again. Jake has taught her how to use an assault rifle and all the other stuff. And so she goes, and I can't remember if this happened before. No, yeah. So he's talking to I'll get to that other part about Jake later. So anyway, he's talking to walking on them people, and then at some point in time, Alicia shows up, and I think that's when Alicia meets Ophelia and everything. And this is complete shocker because we haven't seen Ophelia in a long time. And so basically with Ophelia, let's get into her backstory, how she got with Walker's. So Alicia and Ophelia, they have a conversation, and she tells them how these people, they killed Travis and all this other stuff. By the way, when Walker was talking to Madison at some point, and she tells him, we're not with the Autos, we're just living there, and you shot my husband and everything out that plane. This is why I don't like Walker and some of his people. Walker is all oh, most unfortunate. I was hoping I would shoot one of the Autos. He doesn't even say he's sorry. He doesn't even have no remorse. The dude, he's never sorry about nothing. He's very nonchalant about everything. And it's this dude revenge, that's literally all he can see, because all he can see is that land. And it's just that's why I don't consider him necessarily a true good guy. He does some good things in the name of his people and stuff. And he does help Madison and people out. But it's just the dude, it's kind of the opposite and similar to that of the Autos. He hates the ranch people. Not necessarily in a racist kind of way like Otto hates everybody else, but he hates them. He will kill. He wants revenge. And he's fighting over something that was literally pointless and stuff. So after the end of season 2, Ophelia, she meets Otto. And Otto's all you Mexican, you coming over from Mexico? You're in the wrong part of land over here, girlie, and everything. So it's just and she tells him she's looking for her fiance. And he's oh, your fiance, is he American? She's yeah. That whole storyline with the whole fiance thing in season two, that goes absolutely nowhere in this season. It was like they had to bring it back up because, of course, they brought it up in season two. But needless to say, after what's about to happen to her, she does not go looking for that dude. So it was a very pointless like storyline in season two. So anyway, and then so Otto, he takes her water and stuff, but he gives her a couple of sips of his, and like he tells her, you know, you best find yourself some shelter and stuff because you know being out here in this hot desert, you're is gonna do tricks on your brain, and he just leaves her there. No water, no weapons, no nothing. And so she has to, and he took her car, and so she has to literally walk the desert by herself, and it's hot, scorching hot. She is literally finna die and everything. I think at some point she even meets like a zombie and stuff. And so, yeah, she's literally on the brink of dying. And her face is, I think her feet's all messed up. Her face is messed, something on her is messed up and kind of scaly and stuff, blistery from the hot sun. I think it's her face. Her face is very blistery from the hot sun. She passes out and she meets Walker on a horse. And it's weird calling her Walker, and the zombies are called Walkers. They could have called him something different. And so, yeah, basically, he finds her. At first, he thought she was a zombie, but he found out she's a living. He gives her some water, and he takes her back to his place. And so she's been living there ever since. And now when we see her, her appearance has changed. She now wears her hair in pigtails, similar to that of Native American women. I believe she's also in a relationship with Walker, but it's never truly stated. And so yeah, but it's interesting because this actress, she's supposed to be Mexican, but she's Iranian. This show really knows how to cast them. So basically, Walker turns her into a little assassin and everything. Him and Jake, they make a deal. Their group, Walker people need water, and Jake's people have a well, so they're gonna trade water, but to also broker this parlay, as Jake calls it. I haven't heard that term since the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. So anyway, they're each gonna take a prisoner. Ophelia's gonna go back with Jake, and Alicia's gonna stay with Walker people. This does not set too well with Madison. Now, while there, Alicia does find out a whole lot more about the whole Walker Otto situation, which Madison doesn't really know about too much. And so, anyways, Madison is pissed. She's pissed at Jake for leaving Alicia there. And so, all she could think about is getting like Alicia out of there. But Jake tells her she can't because that's part of the deal and stuff. And so, you know, I think Madison and maybe Ophelia have like a little exchange here and there. But Madison decides, you know what, I'm going to get Troy. We're going to take some militia people and we're getting Alicia back. And that's basically what they do in the middle of the night. And so Madison screws up the entire deal that they had. Because, of course, when they're there, some people see them and Troy just has to kill them. And by killing them, that angers Walker. So they get Alicia out of there and they drive back. Alicia's pissed. Jake is pissed. Otto's a little pissed, but he just doesn't really care because he's a drunk alcoholic. And Ophelia, you know, she's just like, you know, seriously, you know, you just screwed this whole thing up. Madison literally screwed up. Like literally screwed up. Cause Walker people wasn't gonna hurt Alicia because she's not really part of the Otto group and stuff. And so as they're there at the table, like everybody there at Otto's ranks at the table, you know, Ophelia's there. And she doesn't let nobody know she knows Otto and what he did to her. And it's just like, dude, this would have been like the perfect time for you to spill the beans. This would have made Madison come around. And you like, you know, this thing could have been squashed a whole lot longer and Madison group could have left. Now, at some point in time, Nick decides that Otto's not really telling the truth about something. And so he goes back to that because now he lives at the house where the man, the house got set on fire. I think that house, or maybe another house, I can't remember. And something's not sitting right with him for some bizarre reason. I don't know how, but he figures out that it's time to start doing some digging. So he digs underneath like the ground, underneath like the floorboard of like the house or something like that, and he finds a skull. And he takes it to his mom and Otto. And he's just like, "Who is this?" and everything. And it turns out it's Walker. Well, it's one of the two. It's either Walker's father or it's Walker's grandfather. And Otto tells Madison a quaint little story about how, like, Otto's, no, I mean, Walker's people tried to take the land back. They confronted them, talking about it and stuff. And Otto decided point blank, he's just going to kill both Walker's dad and Walker's grandfather and everything without being provoked, and then he just shoots and kills them because they're Native American and he only likes white people, and he's also a stupid drunk. I forgot how Otto's wife died. I don't know if he killed her or not, but anyway. So Madison's just kind of like, crap, man, I really am on the wrong side and stuff. Like, she should have listened to Walker. And so, of course, Walker now is pissed. He knows his his people, his dad and granddad was over there, but he didn't know what happened to their bodies and stuff. So Jake takes like a bunch of their bottled water and he takes it over to Walker people. He's still trying to make peace with them after Madison screwed things up. Walker ain't having it. Walker starts to scalp Jake and everything. And I forget why he stops. And I forgot who made him stop. It might have been, yeah, it was Ophelia. Because at some point she went back to Walker's people. And I think she's the one who made him stop. And so they send Jake back with a message and everything that, you know, they're coming for them and everything. So, of course, Jake's half scalped and like everybody's all like, you know, we have to take care of them, blah, 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 blah. And at some point we see Walker and his people. We see Walker and his people. And they're at the outside part of like the ranch. And so, you know, people are like, this is like a really tense moment and everything. And it's kind of like, what's going to happen? And so Madison tries to talk to him. And I think she tries to give him back. No, wait, something happens. No, wait. Alicia does something stupid. And God, I forgot what. I think after being scalped, for some reason, Alicia, I think she heads over back to Walker's place and she ends up stealing one of his trailers with all his artifacts and stuff. And then she takes it back to the ranch because, that's what happened. Because after Jake came back and took all their water over there, Alicia's just like, well, we need water because we're running out of water here and stuff. And so Alicia decides that in order to get their water back, they can make a trade. So stupid Alicia steals all his Native American artifacts and says, oh, you know, we're going to make a trade like this and this. And you give us back our water and we'll give you back your artifact. Well, Walker's all like, these artifacts mean nothing to him right now. And, you know, he just wants his land back and you people suck. And so, like, and, you know, but he don't say that. But yeah, like he's just sick and tired of these people. And he like, nothing matters to him but his revenge. That's all he's looking for right now is his revenge. And I think Madison even tells him, hey, look, here's your daddy or granddaddy's skull. He's all like, I don't want that. I just want my revenge right now. And I want this land back. And you people have pissed me off for the last time. And so, like, so at some point in time, they leave. And at some point in time, Ophelia, she comes back to the ranch by herself. No. She gets like thrown out of like a car and everything by one of Walker's people. Probably Crazy Dog. Crazy Dog is like Walker's right-hand man. He reminds me of Martinez from like the governor's place. So anyway, Ophelia comes back and she's bruised and beat up. And she said, you know, because of all what happened, Walker doesn't trust her no more. And they beat her up and they sent her back over here. Well, that's the whole ruse and everything. She's his little assassin. she ends up making, like, they tell her she can stay there, but she has to work for her keep and everything. Well, Otto tells her that, and so she's there, and she still don't tell nobody what happened between her and Otto. At one point in time, I think she was making like tea or coffee or something for everybody, and then, like, so at some point in time, we start seeing people cough and spitting up blood, and they're just like dying left and right, and so it's the militia people. Now, at this point in time, Nick has joined the militia. And so he drunk some of that stuff that Ophelia made for him. And he's coughing up blood and all this other stuff. And so as people are dying, some people are turning to walkers. And nobody understands what the heck is going on. They don't understand how all of a sudden people are getting sick and they are dying. And then Madison turns and she looks at Ophelia. At some point in time, Ophelia had left and she took off. And so Madison chases her down. And when Madison catches up to her, she just starts pounding on Ophelia's face and talking about, what did you do? What did you do? Just like smacking her and punching her all in the face, making her face even more bruised up. And so Ophelia tells them that she put some powder in their drinks, but she don't know what it is. So Madison goes back to Walker and he tells her straight up, it's anthrax and there's no cure and everything. She's all like, well, my son drunk some of that stuff. He's all like, well, your son is young and strong. He'll probably survive. And Madison's all like, probably. And she just talks to him. She's all like, Madison is furious at this point in time. So now it's time to get into a little bit of racism between her and Alicia. And Madison's all pissed off and she's talking to Otto. She's talking about how, this is back when Alicia was over there, and she's talking about how she doesn't trust these people and because they're a bunch of, and then she stops. And Otto finishes the blank for her. I'm not going to use that term. Now, in other contexts, I would use that term because it's just a term, but it's offensive to the Native American people. Basically, it starts with an S. And so Madison was literally about to say that word and everything. I'm just like, who is this woman? This isn't Madison. She's not racist, but she had to catch herself because she was going to use a racist term. And it's just like, this entire season is racist. Then there's Alicia, back when she was at Walker's place. I forget what she says, but I believe it's like a racial term, or it was like a judgmental term towards the Native American people. And I'm just like, this is not Alicia either. She's literally thinking with Jake Shillelagh and everything, and she has now turned slightly bad and everything. And I'm just like, dude, what is going on in this season? Why is there so much racism in this season? So now all of a sudden, Jake is some type of medical dude. And this is what's so weird about the Walking Dead franchise. It's just like, people who have no medical experience, all of a sudden they have medical experience whenever the plot needs it to. And then people become like experts, like neurosurgeons or something like that. So he's helping the people trying to fight the anthrax and everything. And so, like, what's his face? Nick, he survives. So I guess that's good. I don't really like Nick. I've never liked Nick. And so, what is it? What is it after that? Boop, 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 boop. I forget what happens after that. Somehow, oh, now I remember. So, Madison, as she's finding out more and more about the autos and everything, she realizes the only way to make Walker stop trying to kill, like, her family, the people at the ranch, and all this other stuff is that Otto has to die. Like, he just has to die and everything. That's the only thing that's going to make Walker happy. And so she goes to Otto and he's drinking. He wants Madison to have a drink with him. But she's all like, look, if you truly love this place, if you truly love this ranch and everything, you will take this gun, because she hands him a gun, and you will shoot yourself and everything. And Otto's like, I ain't shooting myself and everything. And so, like, Nick comes in and he's all like, and at this point, Otto doesn't like Nick no more. He's all like, your mom has bigger balls than you because she was going to do something you would have never done, boy. And then Nick just straight up shoots him point blank in the head. And then Madison, she just goes to Nick. She's like, hey, look, I need you to listen and do exactly what I tell you. And so this is like Nick's first like human kill, I believe, and it doesn't set too well with him. So at some point, they set it up to make it look like Otto shot himself. He had too much to drink in his office. There's the gun, and he kills himself. Well, after all that, and Troy and Jake find him, you know, they're crying, they're moping. At some point in time, they like wrap his body up because they're finna bury it. But then at some point, Madison takes a machete off screen and chops off Otto's head. And she presents Otto's head to Walker. Walker is now pleased with this whole thing. And so basically it's kind of like Madison, she literally has said she did exactly what she was going to do. She was going to protect her kids and everything at all costs and do whatever it takes to stay at this ranch. And so at some point she also gives Walker back his dad or grandfather's head. And now he wants it back and he's happy, he's pleased. And she broke a deal with them. Basically, both their groups are going to live at the ranch. And they're going to get along with each other. This does not set well with either groups. But let's put a pin in this for now and get into another character of the show. Daniel and Strand. Yeah, they're in this season. And you wouldn't really know it because they pop in and out. It's like they really, for the most part, they're not even main characters. They're like recurring characters on their own show. And it's pretty pathetic and sad. First, I'll get to Daniel. So Daniel somehow survived the fire of season 2. How? Like, I don't know. But he's walking all through Mexico and he's literally about to die and get attacked by dolls, and then he gets saved. And so he's brought back to this reservoir dam. And so it's owned by this man named Dante. And Dante knows Strand. And Dante's a very evil business type person. Well, at some point in time, Daniel kills him. And then this woman, I forget this woman's name. I'm just going to call her Lorena or something like that. And so she ends up now being the new leader of like the dam and stuff. And what they do is that they distribute it to like poor people in the city. And I think Dante was charging people and she didn't like that. But anyway, she's now the group leader and stuff. And Daniel's a very different person. He's a whole lot meaner and stuff. And I mean, he is cruel, he is mean. He no longer sees people as being redeemed. He just sees life going around in a circle, and he will never change the person that he used to be back in the old days. Now let's get to Strand. Strand was still at the hotel in Mexico, and a bunch of people are there, and something happens. He lies to them and tells them he's a doctor, because the people over there was getting like restless because there's no medical person, and so he lies. The lady who owns the hotel and the nephew, they're all like, these people are going to kill you once they find out you're not a doctor and everything. But you know, Strand being Strand. So he does a bunch of medical stuff, and he's actually helping people. How he knows this medical stuff, man, it's like this show, they just make doctors out of like thin air. But then there's a lady who's pregnant. He's kind of like, crap, what do I do? Well, he ends up helping that lady give birth. Now the nephew dude, he pretty much tells him and the owner lady, they tell Strand, you have to leave. Because once these people find out you're lying, they're going to kill you, they're going to kill us. So you need to leave. And he's all like, all right, can I take a car? They're like, nope. But the nephew has unfinished business with the desperate housewife lady who has locked herself in her room. She doesn't want to eat. And he tells her, you make her eat, because if she don't eat, she's going to turn. And he holds a gun at Strand, like, you going to make her eat. So Strand, he talks to the lady. They have like a touching moment. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry for stabbing you, blah, blah. Oh, now she's sorry. Now she's supposed to get redeemed. And so something about, after thanking him, she's now ready to join the rest of her family. And she jumps out the window. So at some point, Strand, he sneaks down to the basement. I think he takes this lady's car keys and he finds her car because they wouldn't give him a car. And he drives out of there. And he drives and he drives. And as he's on like, um, what is it? Yeah, somehow he makes it to the dam in Mexico, Tijuana, still in Tijuana, and he meets Dante. Him and Dante don't get along. They were old business partners, but you know, Strand being Strand has screwed him over, and he literally holds him captive and tries to kill him at one point. But then he decides, oh, I'm gonna just imprison you. And then that's when Strand meets Daniel. And Daniel, you know, he hates Strand. He knows what type of person Strand is from season 2. And so they're trying to redeem Strand, but then of course he's going to be Strand, so you know. And so basically, Daniel's all like, I want my daughter. Where's she at? And Strand lies, like, oh, she's still at the hotel in that one place. So he's like, okay, fine, we're going to go back there. And if you're lying, I'm going to kill you. So Strand's like, crap. Because he knows Ophelia been left somewhere in the middle of season 2. So they go back to the hotel. It has now been completely overran with zombies. And it's like, man, like, them Mexican people who own that hotel, they did not do a good job of defending that place. Also, I'm happy that the owner and her nephew got their comeuppings, because I did not like them at all. And so, because they was hypocritical people who tried to kill folks, but then get mad when you try to kill one of their people. So now everybody at the hotel is dead. And so Daniel's all like, you're lying. And he left Strand there, stranded. No puns intended. And so Strand, he ends up making it to like the beach and everything. And what does he see? The Abigail. Plot armor. And so he gets back on the Abigail and he clears out the zombies. But I think the engine's messed up and it no longer will start because it's out of gas. And so he's just drinking himself away, and then he's on the radio and he's talking to somebody, and I forget who this somebody is. It might be the proctor. You'll find out about him a little bit later. And so he tells Strand, you know, and they just start talking, they bonding, and Strand's like, all right, fine, I'm gonna go hang out with like you and everything at the baseball field with the rest of your other people, because it's like a group of people living there. And so he sets the Abigail on fire and he makes his way there. Now, let's put a pin in him because he doesn't show back up until halfway towards the end. So back at the ranch. So at the ranch, the ranch people and the Native American people, they are not getting along whatsoever. The white peoples are like, they don't belong here. This is our land and blah, blah, blah. And so tensions are really, really high, to the point where one of Alicia's new friends, who she got high with, decides he's going to try and kill one of them and stab him and everything. So this is causing more conflict, to where they decide, okay, fine, nobody is to have a weapon. Well, they've been decided nobody is to have a weapon on the ranch. But now Walker's all like, our people are not safe here. Your people want to kill us. We need weapons, but you all don't. So Madison and Jacob are like, fine, whatever. Y'all will be the only ones who have access to the weapons, and the white people won't. This, of course, pisses off all the white people, especially Troy. And so, at some point in time, they realize that they have no more water. It's all gone. The well is almost about dry, and the other wells are dry. So Madison and Walker decide to go look for water somewhere. Before I go on their water hunt, I actually left one part out. So at some point in time, Troy has decided that he's had it. He lost his mind even more, that his dad is dead. Even Jake has started to turn kind of like dark a little bit since his dad is dead. And basically Troy has decided, I'm just going to kill as many of these Native Americans as I can. And, you know, he starts going crazy and starts shooting some of them. So now, because he hid a weapon, because a weapon that was hidden in his dad's like study room. And so, so he starts shooting them, and then the Native American people, they try to stop him. But Nick and Madison are still in the room. Madison leaves. Nick stays there because he's going to try and talk Troy out of it. That's literally all he does. He tries to talk him out of it. He doesn't try to fight nobody, nothing like that. So, it's a huge standoff, and Nick is just, Troy is just like firing off weapons, shots, and all this other stuff. At some point in time, Nick does convince him to like stop, or he knocks him out. I think he knocks him out. So then they have decided Troy is too much of a danger, and they're going to exile Troy. And so, but when it comes to Nick, this one doesn't make no sense. Since Nick stayed behind, they decided he's an accessory, so instead of shunning him, they're going to imprison him in a box. And Madison goes along with this crap because she's still just trying to make peace with these people so she can stay at the ranch. And it's just like, no, Madison, no. You know for a fact Nick didn't do nothing. She should have taken Alicia and they should have just left. What is the point of still staying on that ranch? Intentions are so high. Madison is acting like the ranch is like the only place for them to live. There's other locations in that city. They just have to go look for it. And so Nick's in the box. He's in and out of it because he's delirious and stuff. They're giving him water and keeping him alive, but And so Crazy Dog is of course crazy and he doesn't like Nick and all this other stuff. And so when Nick finally does get out the box, he is now a changed man. He is done with the Native American people, for the most part. He's still there acting cordial, but some of the people at the ranch are all like, we saw what you did, Nick. Like, you stayed behind with Troy, and we like that. We want you to be our new leader. And Nick is kind of like, I am not no leader. But then Nick does, like I said, turn. They give him a gun. They smuggled it somehow. And so Nick is the only one with the gun now, other than the Native American people. And so even Nick is starting to get, like I said, getting fed up with the Native American people. Now, okay, all the water's gone, Madison and the man now left. So at some point, the last well that's there is starting to go dry. And as everybody's giving out water, of course, they're doing it in two separate groups because they don't want to be next to each other. And so at some point, one of the militia people's all like, they're double dipping. They're getting like extra water. And Troy, and then Troy, but Nick is all like, is this true? And he's like, well, so what? And everything. And he's all like, Walker wouldn't be for that. He's like, I think Walker would understand. So tensions get even more high, and I think like a scuffle or something like that happens, something like that. And so, yeah, it's just really high emotions with these two groups. Like they're never going to be able to get along, but somehow Alicia ends up making them get along when she starts digging for like there's literally about to be like a war between these two groups. Like literally, they're finna come down to gunfire and everything. And so but Alicia, she starts digging a hole because she's looking for like a well. Some of the Native American people help out. And then Nick's kind of like, my sister just saved all our lives. And he goes out there and help her. Well, it's a bust. They can't dig another well and stuff. So, yeah, that's that. So, at some point in time, what is it? Troy, he finds the place that Walker and them staying out, and he finds a grenade launcher for like smoke bombs and stuff. And so I don't know how he finds it. Like seriously, man. Plot armor. Cause we see him scavenging around for food. He's eating tuna in a can. And then he sees like a picture, and then he takes the picture off the wall, and for some reason he just starts tapping at it. Cause he feels that might be like a safe spot. And so, and it was, because it had the grenade launcher in there. But plot armor, man, I swear. So Troy is gonna be up to something. Let's put a pin in that for now. So back with Madison and Walker, they're like heading to like the baseball stadium because they're just looking for water, and they heard that's a trading place. And so Madison and Walker, they have a talk and everything, and I think Walker gives her some props or something like that. And then he says something that upsets her. And she's all like, do you have kids? And he's all like, I had a dog. And she's all like, well, talk to me when you have kids. And then he starts to talk about how this dog's been with him all his life. And one day it attacked him because it was trying to defend him against these other dogs. And His dog bit him, so he killed him. I'm saying, man, Walker's not that great of a guy. So anyway, they go to the baseball stadium and they try to like trade for water. He has with him some silver coins. I think they're like, I don't know how much they're worth, but like, you know, them silver type coins and stuff. So yeah, he trades with the people there. Well, he's about to. Until Madison sees somebody she recognizes. It's Strand. Strand is not looking so much like Strand. He is not looking like a homeless man in the street. They really are trying to make you feel sorry for this man. He's getting his crap beat out of him. And Madison tries to stop it. The lady who's about to trade water with them, she's all like, "Oh, if you're with that man, then I don't want nothing to do with you because I love my life and everything." And so Madison has screwed up again. Walker is now pissed. Strand takes them into like a little hole in the wall that he lives in and hides out in at times. And you know, Walker and Strand, they have their exchange. They don't like each other. And Madison, she's so happy to see Strand again, even though he left them at the hotel when they got banished and stuff. And it's just like, I don't know what it is with Madison and Strand. It's just like, there's something about those two that they just like, they love each other, but they don't love each other, you know? Now the baseball stadium place that they're at. I don't know where, I don't know if it's in America or Mexico, but a lot of people that are there are white and Asian and stuff. Now I don't see too many Hispanic people, but I see a few. So I don't know exactly where it's at. But anyway, so they're gonna spend the night because you know he tells them that there's like a place where there's like lots of water, the place in Tijuana where Daniel's at, but he doesn't tell them Daniel's still there. And so, or maybe he does tell him Daniel's alive. I can't remember. Anyway, so Walker decides he's gonna try to negotiate with that lady. And so we don't see what happened, but we see Walker and some guards. They're back in that hole in the wall where Madison and Strand was at. And he's all like, if I didn't give up the location, they were gonna kill us all or something like that. I don't know if he ratted them out just to be all like, hey, here's the guy you hate, let us make the deal or something like that, you know. I don't know. But anyway, Strand is now been, he's pretty much on his death sentence now. And he has to fight for his life alongside the fence where they make people fighting a bunch of like walkers and stuff. And so Madison, she's upset about all this and she's not liking what's going down, but the water agreement is back on. As they're about to exchange water for the silver coins, Walker realizes, hey, somebody stole my silver coins. It was Madison. She took all of his silver, it was a bunch of them too, like a bunch. She took all the silver coins to, you know, buy off like Strand's like death sentence thing. So now Strand is back with the group and Walker is pissed off. Cause like he's all like, you have just killed everybody back at the ranch. She's like, no, there's a reservoir dam in Tijuana. We're gonna go there and we're gonna negotiate and they will give us water. And so she's very determined the people will give her water and stuff. But I don't think she knows that Daniel's alive. And I can't really remember if Strand told her. And I don't think he did. So they head over there. And then when they head over there, of course, that's when she meets Daniel. And she's like, oh my God, you're alive. And Ophelia's alive. And you know, and then, you know, he's happy, but he doesn't want to go back to the ranch and meet her because the woman that he's with has convinced him, you know, to, I guess, like leave Ophelia and stuff like that. He's not convinced that Ophelia's better off without him and all this other stuff. And, you know, and since he's such a, he's the man that she hates now because of how evil and mean he is and stuff. But, the lady who runs the dam, she does not want to negotiate for water. But Daniel convinces her once he finds out that Ophelia is alive. And she's all like, can you trust this woman? And he's all like, Madison has never lied to me. Strand, on the other hand, yes. And so, fine. She's like, fine, you know, we will trade water. Now, at some point in time, she got attacked by some villagers for some reason. And so she closed off the dam. And she's only keeping it for herself and like her people. And she doesn't even want to give Madison no water until she gets convinced to. So what it is that they're going to exchange water for weapons. And they're going to meet at the stadium and stuff. Well, at some point, Walker had already left. When the lady first rejected them, Walker got pissed and left. But then once the water deal was on, Madison and Strand was in the giant vehicle, and they meet him on the side of the road, and they're all like, "Hey, you thirsty?" And he has a big smile on his face because he knows what's going on. He knows the water deal is back on and stuff like that. So in order to get the water, not only they have to give them a large supply of weapons that Otto family has, but they must also get them Ophelia. She is the key. Well, something's gonna happen. Something's always gonna happen. Back at the ranch, they start seeing like a bunch of dust kick up, like far, far away from the ranch. And so they're wondering, what's all this dust building up everywhere? And I think Nick saw like, oh, it must be a herd. And so Jake decides that it has to be Troy. Somehow he has led them there because the zombies have never even come near the ranch before. So he goes out with Nick to go find Troy. Troy at this point has lost his mind. He is completely psychotic now. And he's all like, look what I've done, everybody. This is so beautiful. There are thousands of zombies headed to the ranch. And he's all like, isn't this glorious and everything? And so him and Jake, Troy and Jake, they get into it. But I forget what exactly happens. Something happens when they're like scuffling with each other. And then Jake ends up getting bit by a zombie. And so Nick decides, okay, look, before the infection sets in, we're just going to chop your arm off. They do not tie no type of rope or band around his arm to stop the flow of blood. So Nick just like chops it off, clean off with the machete. I swear, man, like this show gets pretty gruesome and stuff. And so they're trying to treat his wound, but they can't because he's losing too much blood and he dies and he turns. And so he, of course, has to be taken down. And I think Nick is the one who has to kill him. Well, at some point in time, Nick confesses to Troy that, look, man, I'm the one who killed your dad. It wasn't my mom and everything. But now, after what all has happened, Nick is going to make Troy help him save the ranch. But at this point in time, the ranch is about to get overtaken. So Alicia, Crazy Dog, and Ophelia, they decide they're going to have try to rescue everybody. They pile a bunch of cars up, and make a blockade. For some reason, they don't hop in the cars and drive away. That would have made more sense. Like, you got to think, these are zombies. They attracted the movement and noise. All they had to do was get in the car, crank up the radio, honk the horn, and lead them astray like a herd, And so, like, they don't think about doing that for some bizarre reason. So they get all the people, they're like scrambling, running, scared and everything. I think some of the zombies might have gotten through, bit some people that killed them off. So she tells them go down into like the pantry. And they're trying to hold off the zombies. The zombies are pushing up against the cars. I will say that's pretty interesting. It's interesting because it's a nice horror movie type moment where you see like the cars shaking back and forth. But of course the zombies knock the cars over, so they start opening fire. There's too many, so they hide in the pantry. While they're down in there, they realize, oh, the air ventilation system is busted. Now they're going to suffocate. Well, there's also a bunch of people in there that are infected and will not say, but Alicia sees somebody who's been bit. So now it's kind of like crap. Now they're down in this little pantry place with no air and they have infected people. So she sends Ophelia and Crazy Dog up into the vents to try to like unblock whatever is blocked up in there. And so Alicia now has to make the hard decision. Life or death for some of these people. She tells them straight up, look, we ain't got no air. In order to make more air, there need to be less people. So some people here are going to have to die. Yeah, she says that. And these people are kind of like, But she's like, look, if you're infected, you need to kill yourself now. to make it better for everybody else and have some air and stuff. So she asked everybody who's all been infected, and of course nobody wants to raise their hand. But then somehow they finally do come forward, and it's like a sizable group of people, probably 20 at the most. And so she takes them into another room, and she's thinking about herself, like, how exactly are they gonna do this? She just gonna blow their heads off, and she's gonna stab them while they're still alive. But then somebody suggests, hey, why don't we drug them and then, kill them? So Otto has morphine in his pantry for some reason. He was going to use it for something else. I forget what. And so they're like, okay, fine. We'll give you the morphine. It'll knock you, it'll put you in a hallucinatory type state, make you zen-like, numb you up. And then she'll stab you in the back of the head. And she does that to all those people. It's too much for her. She can't take it because she's never had to really kill a living person before, only zombies. And it is really making her think about where she is in her life and how she got there. So she's having a conversation with this one woman, and they having their little touching moment, but she forgets to like drug that lady. But the lady passes out anyway, because there's really no oxygen there. And then Alicia passes out. And when Alicia passes out, she forgets to kill one of the infected people. Oh, no, wait. No, wait. She's killed all the infected people. But now the living people are passing out from loss of oxygen, and they're now turning. So she wakes up. She sees what's going on. She kills the old lady, because that's like her new little friend now from that one like couple of minutes. And so she takes the assault rifle, and she just starts like plowing down like people. And then I think it jams, so she starts fighting them off. And then she is rescued by Madison and them. Well, Madison, Strand, and Walker. Now, while the whole thing with Alicia was going on, Troy and Nick, they were trying to kill as many zombies as they could, run them over, shoot them. It wasn't going well. And so they wanted to make a distraction by blowing up this, oh, that reminds me. That's how they made the water gun agreement. What is it? Strand blew up something that the people of the dam needed. And that's what caused them to want to renegotiate with Madison and stuff. So anyway, Nick and them wanted to blow something up to distract the herd of zombies, but they was unable to get there. So they get into a helicopter, and they decide, okay, they're just gonna fly over there. But for some reason it doesn't work, and there's more zombies coming, and they turn on the propeller, and it cuts off a bunch of heads of the zombies, and it's a really cool moment. But then they're still getting overran by the zombies, and then so Troy is all like, hey, look, man, I only got one bullet left in this gun. It's me or you. Like, you get to decide which one of us lives and which one of us dies. And he does it with that really psychotic look on his face. And so, Nick, he has the gun, but then, like I said, Madison and them end up coming at some point in time and rescuing them off camera. Now, while all that's going on with the whole Nick and Troy and the Alicia thing, Ophelia's up in the vents with Crazy Dog, and they're trying to unblock whatever's blocked up in there. And so Crazy Dog starts to hyperventilate and stuff like that. But he cooled off. And then so they find out what's blocking it. It's a zombie. He's up in propellers, and he's the one that's blocking the airflow. So she's going up there and she's trying to rescue him. And then and then something happens where she slips, and then the zombie falls, and the zombie's still alive, and they have to take him out. Well, air is flowing through now the vents, and I think that's what wakes Alicia up or something like that. Well, it turns out that while she was fighting that zombie off in the vent, he must have ended up biting her, because she now has been bit. And when Madison finds out, she's like, crap, we are totally screwed. This is the only thing that's really going to get us on water. And when Daniel finds out, he is going to kill all of them. So then something interesting happens. Alicia and Madison have a huge argument. Alicia's all like, well, first she wants to know how the zombies got there. And of course she knows it's Troy. And Troy is still there. But she wants to know what happened to Jake. And of course, Nick, he lies and says that, you know, um, the zombies got Jake, and then he had to take him out, blah, blah, blah. So he ain't telling about what all happened and how Jake ended up dying and stuff. Oh, I forgot another lie. When Madison and them came back barefooted, she lied and said that, see, wait, hold on. I completely forgot about something. Early on in this season, there was a group of people. It was one of the founding members of like the ranch, and it was like a teenage girl who befriended Alicia. And so they wanted to leave because they said the ranch is no longer safe because of the Native American threat. And so they left, but they took some like stuff with them. This pissed off Troy. So him and his militia people, they go out and find these people and they murder them. And when Madison finds this out, she decides her and Nick are gonna lie. They're gonna say the Native Americans did. They kind of egg on the rancher people to say like, hey, these people are a threat, blah, 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 and we can't say this about Troy because we need Troy, blah, 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 stuff like that. And so Madison has literally been living with that lie that entire like time. She knows Troy ended up murdering those people, but they just blamed it on like the Native Americans or the zombie people to kind of get the rancher people motivated. Once again, this is not Madison. Like, who is she, man? Like, who is she in this season? So in a way, after Alicia Ben found out about who killed those people, but she decided she's done with Madison. She tells her mom that, you know, if she stays with her, she's gonna die. Like, she talking about how she just can't take it with her mom no more. She can't take it with the lies. She doesn't like how her mom's turned into a terrible person. And she tells her mom straight up, I'm leaving. I can survive on my own. You know I can. Who does Alicia think she is? This is Alicia we're talking about. In season 1, she didn't even believe the zombies were real. And everybody had to save her butt. In season 2, she was stupid enough to talk to somebody on the radio, a pirate dude who ended up taking their boat and everything. Alicia does not make good decisions either. So, but she thinks she's the survivalist now and can live on her own. And of course, because of plot armor, she does. So Madison doesn't want to say bye, but she lets Alicia go because Alicia's like 18 or something like that now. And so she tells Nick and Troy, follow Alicia and bring her back. So they go and they follow her and stuff. So at this point in time, they all decide, here's the thing. Everybody who lived on the ranch is now dead. Every single last person. All those groups, the Native American people, dead, dead, dead. The only people who are still alive is the main cast and recurring characters. So it's Madison and her 2 kids, it's Strand, it's Walker, Troy, Crazy Dog, but Ophelia is dying. And those are the only people who are left. This is why I say, what was the point in all this? It was a pointless season. And not only that, but they could still live at their ranch. It's just a bunch of dead bodies there. All they had to do is like bury the ones that are alive so they don't turn. You know, take them out in the head and just bury them, and the ones that have turned, burn them. But no, they feel that the ground has been saturated in zombie blood and there's no point in living there. There's too much death, it's too much sadness. And it's just like, what was the point in wanting this land so much if you're just gonna abandon it? I mean, you literally took it back. The zombies are now dead. So I don't get what was the point in them? What was the point of this season? Like I said before, it's a pointless season. But this was the main focal point, was the ranch. Now, the second focal point of this entire season is the water situation, which doesn't really occur until towards the last couple of episodes, like 4 at the most. And it's just like, this is not how you divide the season. Like, the primary stuff was the ranch stuff. It popped in and out with Strand and Daniel, and that's about it, you know? And it's just like, what was the point? And this is what pissed a lot of people off. But oh no, it gets worse than that. So Alicia goes off on her own and she's trying to survive, and she ends up at a restaurant and she finds some mashed potatoes. She's like, woohoo, I got mashed potatoes now. But then some zombies come in. So she tries to kill some of them off, but then something happens and she ends up in a ball pit. And there's some zombies in there. So she couldn't fight them off for some reason. So then this woman named Diane shows up. A woman out of the blue, a new character. And so she takes out the zombies and she steals Alicia's mashed potatoes. Alicia's pissed. The lady has driven off. Alicia follows her in her car. Before all that happens, though, Alicia does meet up with Troy and Nick and say how she's not coming back and she'll come back eventually. She'll go to the baseball field. She tells them to go. And so they leave and everything. So anyway, Alicia's in hot pursuit of this woman. She finds this woman with her assault rifle. The lady only has like a pickaxe. And she tells this woman, you give me back my mashed potatoes and I'll let you live and everything. And this woman's all like, these are my mashed potatoes. And she's like, nah, you stole them from me first. But then they decided they're gonna like play nice with each other and fight off some zombies. And they say, you know, once we eat some of these mashed potatoes, we're gonna go our own separate ways and everything. But somehow they end up staying together. So I'm thinking, okay, this is a new character. All of a sudden, in the last like 4 or 3 like episodes, but whatever, you know. And this character's never been shown before on the show. So at some point, they're driving. And oh no, before they driving, this woman tells her why she takes the teeth and fingers from zombies. Because when Alicia was in the ball pit in the restaurant, she noticed that this woman chopped off the fingers of some dead zombies and took their teeth and everything. And so basically it's like payment. It's like cash. There's these people at the baseball stadium. There's a really evil dude named Proctor that lives there. And this is what you give him this, and then he gives you stuff in return, like supplies and stuff. So Alicia, she's like, oh, that's too rich for my blood and stuff, but she still hangs with this lady. So they're driving, and they get ambushed by these group of men who plows into their car with theirs. So Alicia fights them off and all this other stuff. The woman she's with, Diane, she broke her leg. So somehow they find like a place, and at this place there is a doctor dude there. So much plot armor, I swear. They just happen to find a doctor. He treats the woman's leg, and then the proctor comes in, and the proctor is like an evil dude who likes young girls, and he has his eye on Alicia. And so he tells her that you're gonna be my new nurse because he has cancer and everything, and he's in a wheelchair, and you're going to help. And then she's like, I don't have that much medical training. He's all like, but you'll do, because he has a crush on her. And just like that, the Diane character is never seen again. She just straight up disappears from the rest of the series. So what was the point of bringing her in? Just so she can meet, just so Alicia can meet the proctor and stuff. So, like, the doctor dude, he's operating on the proctor's back. The proctor does not want no type of anesthetics. He's gonna take it because he doesn't want to be put under because he's afraid somebody might get the jump on him. So he wants Alicia to talk to him, make him like calm and everything. And the way Alicia has to talk to the proctor is very gross and disturbing. It's like, it's kind of like Stockholm syndrome kind of thing, you know. Like, she's his prisoner, and she has to be all sweet and nice to him and everything. And so he's getting operated on. It's a pretty gruesome operation. And the dude's trying to pull the tumor out, and he ends up doing it. And then he tells Alicia, we need to go back to my main hangout, which is like the baseball stadium and stuff like that. And of course she has no choice because he won't let her go because she's about to become his little toy. So the baseball stadium, I haven't really talked about that yet. So the gang's all there. Nick and Troy show back up, and Madison's all like, where is like Alicia? And they're like, she's not coming. And so Madison's upset. And so Nick relapses because he said, he's had enough and he's back to doing drugs again. I don't understand this. He hasn't done drugs since season 1. Season 2, he was completely clean. And then, he has become like a new person. And it's just like, why would they do this to this? I get people relapse in real life, but why would you do this for like a fictional TV show and stuff? And it's just one downward spiral after that. He gets high, but he wants something stronger. And so he goes to this one dude who's like, I got something stronger. It's brain stem from dead zombie people. And so he makes Troy eat that with him, and they get super, super high. I'm thinking like they're eating brain stems. What was this show thinking? Human brain stems. And so they're hallucinating out in the street, and they're like totally like out of the zone and everything. Like they're so high. And Nick's like, hey Troy, I got something to show you. So he kills like a zombie and he puts the blood in his face. He's like, and Troy's like, Nick, what are you doing? And he's like, oh no, it's cool, man. We're gonna be one with the zombies. And everything. And so Nick just starts like running off into like the herd of zombies, you know, in the way he runs and stuff. and so he's there and he's walking like, you gotta be quiet, man. So they're like walking past the zombies, and Troy's just kind of like internally freaking out. But then something happens where Nick has like a nervous breakdown, and Troy has to like hug him and comfort him, and Nick's all like, I can't go back, man. I just can't go back to like, I just can't go back. And Troy's like, I got you, man. Like, I got you. I don't know what Nick was talking about. I don't know if he's talking about he can't go back to civilization or real people. He can't go back with his mom. I don't know exactly what he was talking about. It's never really resolved. But it might be the mom thing because something else that happens. So then Nick has decided he's going to go into business with the bartender dude who gives him the brain stems and the drugs. And so the dude's all like, all right, fine. You guys, I'll give you like a discount, this and that. But I'll give you as many brain stems as you want, but you got to help me, like, you know, get some. So Nick goes back out and he kills more zombies. And then we see one of the most nastiest scenes there. We see the bartender with a machete and he chops the heads off people, but he cuts them in half and he's taking brain stems out. And it's a really gruesome scene that they show. And he tells them, you can't get one that's been decayed. You have to get one that's freshly turned. And Nick's just like all with this and stuff. But Troy comes in and he tells Nick, hey, look, man, it's time to go. Your mom's in danger. See, Troy overheard some stuff while he was there. It's nice to point out that Troy feels very uncomfortable being in the baseball stadium with all these different races. Like you just see the expression on his face as he's eating a taco. But he overhears some of like the thugs talking about how they're gonna take like a reservoir dam. Of course, that's where Madison and them are at. So he gets Nick and tells him, look, man, your mom's in danger. Somehow they're trying to redeem Troy. And I'm just like, this dude is unredeemable. But they're trying their best to do so. It's kind of like he went from being like a super villain to now trying to help people and stuff. Only because he has respect for Madison. And so, yeah, they head out to the dam and they warn him and everything. But when he does that, Daniel just has a oddly suspicious look on his face. He does not trust Troy at all, but Troy hasn't even done anything to him, but he just doesn't trust Troy for some bizarre reason and stuff. It's also to point out with Daniel that when he finally made it to the checkpoint to meet Ophelia, of course, she died just seconds before he got there. And he was pissed, put a gun in Madison's face, wanted to shoot her, but he didn't. And so he buries his daughter. And what's interesting is that before she died, she tells Madison, tell my dad she wished she could have known the real him. Because she's still holding on to the fact that he used to torture people back in the day. And so Madison tells him that and stuff. And it's kind of like Madison tells her the same thing she tells Daniel, that she knew Daniel. She knew the man that he wanted her to know. And she didn't need to know all that bad stuff. I'm just like, she's really harping on that. Like, she's known the man her entire life, knew one side of him, but then within like a couple of like weeks, she found out he's a completely different person and hold that against him, even to the point where she dies and stuff. But Daniel comes back around to Madison and befriends her again. However, as Troy and Madison was like planting like bombs in the dam in case like the people show up, he starts to interrogate Nick. And it's a very scary scene because we know how Daniel is. And Nick is pissed scared. And he tells Nick over and over, don't you lie to me. And everything. And of course, Nick lies to him. And he wants to know straight up, how did that herd get to the ranch? He's like, every herd of sheep needs like a shepherd. It needs somebody to lead them there. Who led it? And Nick doesn't want to say. But Nick's all like, look, man, I didn't kill Ophelia and everything. He's all like, I know, I believe you. But you said before that Alicia was down in the pantry with Ophelia, and you and what's his face were outside the thing. So who led him there? And he's also all like, it could have been one or two people, Jake, who is dead, he said, or Troy. And Nick's all like, it was Jake. It was Jake. And so Daniel just looks at him. And he's like, all right, you're free to go. But he doesn't believe him. He knows it's Troy. And so at some point, he lets everybody know that. This pisses off. No, he doesn't. He lets some people know. I think he lets Madison know. I can't really remember. But at some point, when Madison and Troy was talking, Troy is having a bizarre conversation with her, almost like he's in love with Madison or something like that. And Madison just kind of like, what the world ever. But then at some point, like I said before, you know, she does find out. Oh, no. Now I remember. So Nick shows up and he tells, actually, you know what? Let me stop this for a second, because I forgot to talk about Strand. I need to bring him up really importantly. So when Strand was at the baseball stadium and everything, Strand made a deal with the Proctor people, because they were going to take the dam anyway. But Strand decided, because he's who he is, hey, if I help y'all break into that place, let down their defenses, and kill the lady who owns that place, will you let me run it while y'all run all this? And will you let me keep my friends alive, Madison and her family? And so the deal was set, but it backfires once the people show up, because see what happened was some of the people started to break in, because one of the flow of water was shut off at the tunnel, because he did that so they can come in peacefully and safely and everything. And so they all started shooting guns and firing and all this other stuff, and they killed some people back and forth. And then Strand finds like Madison and Nick and tells them to hide. But before that, Nick runs down there with Madison and Troy and tells them, look, we need to get out of here now, because Strand told him to get Madison out and just leave, because Strand confessed to Nick what all he did. Like, Strand is a desperate man. Like, he is not the same person you saw in season 2 or even season 1. So Nick is upset at Strand and everything, but he goes down there to tell Madison, look, Mom, we need to leave now because Strand betrayed us, and also Daniel's gonna come down here and murder Troy. And Madison's all like, well, why is Daniel gonna kill Troy? And so Troy's all like, because I'm the one who led the herd to the ranch. This pisses Madison off. And Madison's all like, why? Why would you do that and everything? And he's all like, because it's just who he is. And then he started, and then at some point in time, when he was talking to her, like I said, when he was talking about Strange, like, he went back to old Troy, like when we saw like in the first episode of this season, talking about, you know, the racist evil Troy. And Madison is just like, screw you, man. And then the strangest thing happened. It looked like she punched Troy, but he was dazed and confused and just tilted and fell over to the ground. And then she clubbed him again. She had a hammer in her hand, and that's what she did to hit him the first time. It was so quick and fast, you couldn't see it. With 2 hits, he is dead and he falls down in a pit. Nick is just looking, and I'm just like, holy crap. She literally killed him because he screwed everything up at the ranch. He screwed everything up with Ophelia, and he just screwed up, period, all of them and stuff. And he's the reason why, you know, Travis got shot and stuff, because of the whole Otto family. So after Strand finds them and they go hiding and everything, Nick is really laying it into Madison. Why? He's pissed she killed Troy, because he likes Troy. They're like buddies now. And Madison's all like, I did this for you, and Troy was too much of a threat. And Nick's all like, oh, cut your crap and everything. And so him and Madison, she's cussing him out, throwing out some F-bombs, which is kind of unusual for this show, because you don't hear F-bombs that much. And so Madison, even though she still loves Nick, she's just fed up with him because she's doing all this stuff with him and Alicia, and they're not grateful. But Madison, like I said, have screwed up so much this season. She kind of lost her way, but found her way. It's kind of like she just wants to protect her family. She just wants to make them safe, and she will do whatever it takes to do that. And she has said that plenty of times this season. But he is still pissed that she killed Troy. He's all like, "Who makes you the judge, jury, and executioner and everything?" She's all like, "It's just the way the new world is and everything." And he's all like, "You're evil, mom." And so like, this is this point where I'm just so sick of this character. I was so glad when he left in season 4. Like, thank God I had never to see or hear this dude again. And so Strand comes back in, and he's all like, "Look, I'm gonna like, because Strand's at this point where he's on his last legs. Like, Proctor is just done with Strand, you know, and so." But Strand's like, "Okay, I'm gonna hide you guys. Well, I'm not gonna hide you. I'm gonna get y'all out of here by dressing you up as some of the guards, and you're gonna walk right past them and everything." It works until something else happened. See, before this happens, Strand, like I said, was supposed to kill that woman, and he was going to, but Daniel tried to stop him. He shoots Daniel instead. He shoots him in the mouth, and he survives that. That's why like in season 5, we see Daniel and he has fake teeth. Who was the dentist that fixed his teeth? Don't know. It's never explained. But yeah. So he tried to kill that woman, but he let her live and everything. And then so Strand knows he's done for. He didn't kill that woman, all this other stuff. He's still gonna negotiate his way out of there. And so when he's with Madison and Nick, Madison knows something's wrong with Strand, and she pretty much asks him, you know, straight up, like, "What did you do? What did you do now?" Because she knows he betrayed them and stuff. And he's all like, "I shot Daniel," and she's furious and everything. And but she's still to the point where she trusts him and everything. So he tries to sneak them out, and like I said, it works until that woman shows up with a gun because Daniel gave her a gun, and she just starts shooting rounds off at people. But then the Proctor dude, he ends up killing her. At this point in time, Proctor now sees that Madison and Nick were trying to like escape. And so like, you know, he's done with Strand. He's not going to let Madison and them live, even though he made a deal with Alicia. Because when him and Alicia was going there, she tells him that, you know, my mom is there and all this other stuff, and she knows Strand, and she's all like, "I'll do whatever it takes if you're gonna let my family live." And so the Proctor dude's all kind of like, you know, we get to go, me and you gonna get to go away like on some type of like vacation and this and that, basically to be his little sex toy and everything. But she made that deal just to save her mom and her brother. Like, what? I thought she must be strong and independent and hate her mom, you know, and whatever, dude. Anyway. So, Proctor dude's all like, "Look, I'm done with all of y'all. I'm going to kill every single last one of y'all. I'm going to kill Alicia first, just so she don't have to see me kill her mom and everything." So, then as he's about to kill them, first he tells them to like, well, no, Alicia, she makes like, I think another deal or something like that. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. Something happens. No, wait. I'm starting to forget. My bad. So in a way, he's gonna kill them. So they all walk off and they're ready to be killed. But then they get to say their final goodbyes and stuff. And as Nick says goodbye to like Strand, he gives him a huge hug. And he's a pickpocketer. And it's a nice little callback from season 1, where he stole Strand's like key or something like that. Well, he steals the detonator to the bombs. And Nick pretty much is, you know, punking out the Proctor dude. He tells him straight up, "Look, you're gonna let my family leave, I'm gonna stay here, and we're all gonna die on this bridge." And so Alicia's all like, "Nick, just come with us and everything." And then the Proctor dude's like, that detonator has a certain range, and if he goes out on that boat, then the bomb isn't gonna go off, and we're gonna come hunting for y'all. But he said, "We're gonna come hunting for y'all anyway," because he thinks he's gonna survive this. So Alicia, Strand, and Madison, they leave on the boat. And there's complications with the boat, but they head out. But then there's more complications with the boat because this is the Fear the Walking Dead franchise. So anyway, Nick is there with the detonator in his hand, and he's looking all cool and everything. And the Proctor dude gets under his skin by saying, "Is that bomb even like for real?" and everything. He's like, "Well, we're gonna find out." But then he's all like, he says something. He's like, "Oh no, I remember." He says like, "Your mom and sister, they're not far out yet. You hit that button, and they're gonna get swept up in the crashing waters and stuff." And he's all like, "Oh, but you didn't think about that, now did you, boy?" And then so then they start like closing in on like Nick, and then we start seeing some of them get shot. Who is it? It's Walker and Crazy Dog. Now you're probably wondering, where were they this whole time? When Troy came to warn the people at the dam that Proctor people was coming to take it, they decided, "Hey man, this ain't our fight. We're gonna abandon y'all." And they're like, "We heard some of our people went up north. Maybe some of the people escaped the ranch, but pretty much all of them are dead." But I'm just like, wow, how cowardly they are, man. This is why I don't like them. But anyway, they redeemed themselves a little bit by being snipers and stuff. They were like on a mountain cliffside, and they were just sniping the Proctor people left and right. And so then Daniel shows up because he's still alive. I think he was shooting some of them, and he tried to get he goes to like Nick, but Nick had hit the button to the detonator, and dam just like explodes. And as everything's crashing down and everything, and he puts his hand on Nick's shoulder and stuff, and stranding all them, they're having complications with the boat. The tide is bringing them back in towards the dam, and they get swept under. Now, this is the part that's really strange that I haven't mentioned yet. Well, I did mention a little bit about this, but let's talk about this. The hallucination. It was strange, it was weird, it makes no sense. Period. Madison throughout this entire episode has been hallucinating, like having like a daydream of herself at having a Christmas dinner. And at that Christmas dinner, everybody's there. Walker's there, Crazy Dog's there, the entire Otto family is there. The militia dude with the beard is there. Alicia, I believe, is not there. Nick and Luciana with their baby has left, and they want nothing to do with Madison. And then Strand shows up there with a bunch of Christmas gifts. And Madison cooking like turkey dinner, and then she goes out to like the grave site, and I think it was like it was like Otto's grave site, because at some point when Otto was at the table, something happened, and now his head's been chopped off and was served at Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner. Then she goes out to his grave, and then her arm comes up and drags her down, and she's in like the water, and she sees Travis for like a brief second and everything. So he shows up with a cameo, and then we see her. She's now floated up to the top of the water after crashing down, and she's near like the other part of the dam where a bunch of townspeople get in the water, and she says hello to like a little girl, and then like it ends. And so in season 4, you're like wondering, how did they all survive this? Every single last one of them survived it. Strand, Alicia, Madison, Nick, who was on the dam and exploded, Daniel, they all survived. How? It's never once explained in season 4. It's never explained in season 5 or 6. They just said somehow they survived, and somehow they found Luciana, and somehow they ended up, I think, in near Texas, and found like a baseball field stadium. That's where they started to live. It was never explained when the show got rebooted, and Morgan came over, and they had a bunch of new characters. And it's just like, what kind of shoddy writing is this, man? But yeah, this is why I think this whole season was just pointless. Everything they fought for was all for nothing. The ranch, they fought over land that for the most part was like given away years before any of them was born, during the whole conflict between Native Americans and the European settlers and everything. And then, of course, like, after losing in court so much, they were still fighting over this land. They was fighting over a ranch that, like, ended up getting taken away from them by the zombies. And they still could have took it back, but they decided they didn't want it. And, like, all the Otto people and the ranch people are dead. The Native American tribe from Walker's tribe, only him and Crazy Dog are left alive, and they don't even go back to the ranch. They just head up north. And it's just like, what was the point in all that? And it took up the entire season. Then there's the whole Reservoir Dam thing and the whole water shortage. That was pointless because they blew it up, but then the people got the water back again in the town. Because, you know, the people closed off and kept it for themselves. And it's just like, what was really the point in all that? The Proctor, he was a villain who showed up towards the end of the season. And him and his people are interesting. Like, the dude was interesting, but he dies just like every other villain dies really early off in this season. Then there's the whole Clark family and their mood swings this season. They were all unrelatable characters at some point in time. And when you starting to feel their character, then all of a sudden they just turned sucky and everything. Then there's the whole Strand, Daniel, and Luciana thing. They kept popping in and out this season to where they really wasn't even in the season. Like the stuff with Daniel and Strand, they were barely in this season. Like probably 5 episodes at the most. Just like Luciana. Like Luciana literally disappears, shows back up in the 4th season, and there's never no explanation of how she got back with the group. Like, where did she go? Did they even explain where she went? Like, the actress must have done like a movie or something, scheduling conflict. Then there's the whole stuff with Travis, his character. The actors all like, I don't want to be on the show no more. Just kill me off. And that's exactly what they did. And, you know, and it's just like, what was the point in this season? And then, like, what happened to that Diane lady that Alicia met? She disappears. And it is never explained how they all survived the raging waters. It is never, ever, ever explained. Never. But it caused Nick to have PTSD and everything for how short he lived in season 4. And then what made it even worse, they killed Nick and Madison off in season 4. The Nick actor wanted to leave. Frank, I believe his name is. The Madison actress, she didn't even know her death was coming. And they introduced all these new, boring, somewhat interesting characters and stuff in season 4. Let's get to the similarities of season 3 of The Walking Dead. So, in season 3 of both these shows are very similar. One, there is a town filled with like people who just live there, and people who are like evil racist people who own that place. You know, you have the governor of Woodbury, you have auto people, who Otto is evil, Troy is evil, and it's just like, you know, it's just the hateful people owning this town and having conflict with our main group. Ophelia ended up becoming Andrea this season. You know, she got separated from the main group. Then she started like tangling around with the this other group, and the other group isn't all that better. I still say Walker's people aren't all that great, man. Like, Walker isn't to me like no hero and stuff. Like, he's done some bad stuff. He's not even sorry for killing Travis. And so just like with Andrea, she sleeps with like the villain and stuff, and because you know at some point Ophelia did that. It happened off screen, but you know she did that. And then she tries to have that redeeming arc towards the end, just like Andrea, just for Andrea to get bit and for Ophelia to get bit and die. You have the leader of the group making all these bad decisions left and right. Rick made a whole bunch of bad decisions in season 3, and Madison made some bad ones here. But for most part of Rick, when he made bad decisions, it was because he went crazy in the head. Madison was fully like self-aware and sane, and she still made bad decisions. You know, Nick has some similarities to Carl this season. It's like they're both turning into unlikable characters even more so, and they end up killing people in cold blood. You know, Carl killed that one kid, and then Nick, of course, kills Otto and stuff. In both seasons, they fight over like a town. In The Walking Dead, the people of Woodbury, they're fighting to get the prison. And then, of course, in Fear the Walking Dead, they're fighting to get the ranch. And then, of course, the dam and everything. Strand is like Merle. It's like they're both bad guys. They both betrayed their group of people they're with. But even though they're both bad, the show is trying to redeem them towards like the end and stuff. And because with Merle, he was evil since season one, and he got abandoned by those people, and then he started hanging out with the governor and started killing a bunch of folks. And then when he met Daryl again, he tried to redeem himself, only to hand over Michonne to like the governor, only to decide he's gonna let her go, and then try to ambush the governor people and end up dying. Strand, he abandoned Madison's group and let them. He stayed at the hotel and let them to wander wherever. And then like he did a bunch of bad stuff. And then of course, he turned to like a shabble, shrubbery of his own like former self. And then he tried to redeem himself by like saving Madison's group and stuff. And there's too many parallels, man. Alicia, she reminds me a little bit of Glenn. Like she's doing everything she can, and then once she's captured and everything, she turns into a slightly darker character. She's more focus driven, but she's making bad mistakes. She thinks she can survive on her own, but she's only surviving because of plot armor and stuff. Daniel is like Michonne. He's this survivor who's very stubborn. And he's pretty ruthless like she is, and will kill somebody just like she will. And then Michonne, she lost Andrea, and Daniel, he loses Ophelia and stuff. Just like with both seasons, when the ranch goes under, nobody goes back to live there. And The Walking Dead, when Woodsbury gets taken over, nobody goes back to live there either. Then Tyrese and Jake, they're very similar characters and stuff. It's like they're these noble men who try to do the best they can. They make their mistakes here and there, but for the most part, they're noble people. And then there's Troy. Troy's a little bit of a combination of both Merle and the governor. He's evil, he does bad things, he kills folks. He has a redeeming arc towards the end, only to like suffer and die once again. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.